Hi, this is Robin Armbrecht with Really Robin Stamps. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today's project on Let's Create Together is a 4-pocket card album, which I think you are going to love. So let's get started. So I am calling this project a 4-pocket card album, and this is the reason why. And also the reason I feel like this is such an amazing project is because it will fit into a regular invitation size envelope, and it can go through the mail. So let me show you what this looks like. So there is a belly band, and then you've got four pockets and then a middle place. This is great for adding pictures, which is what we're going to do, but it's also great to just make a different kind of card that has a lot of little interactive pieces. So let me show you how this is going to go together, and you can follow along with me if you'd like. So the supplies that you would need to do this project is 1 sheet of pattern paper that has 2 sides, and you want those sides to coordinate together in pattern and color, because you're going to see both sides in this project. Then you're going to need a neutral color to create all of those fun pieces that go inside the album, and you can cut all of those pieces from 1 sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So this is basic white. Then you're going to need some liquid adhesive, a bone folder, some scissors, a ruler and a pencil, and then some kind of paper clip or washi tape. This is going to be a marker for us to mark our spot, and then a circle punch of some kind. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and score this so that we can start putting this album together. So you can use a scoring tool such as the Simply Scored tool, or if you have a paper trimmer that has a cutting and scoring blade on it, you can use that as well. You could also use the tip of a bone folder with a ruler. So there's lots of different ways to score. I'm going to go ahead and use the Simply Scored tool. All right, so decide which is your top, okay, and we're going to mark that as soon as we make the next turn. The very first score line that you're going to do is at 4 inches, and then 4 inches from that at 8 inches. So you're going to do 4 inches and 8 inches. Then you're going to turn this to the left 1 turn, and you're going to score at 3.5 inches and 8 3/4 inches. Okay, so let me just repeat that. The first thing you're going to score is 4 inches and 8 inches on a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Then you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 3.5 and 8 3/4. Okay, so we can put that tool away. So now you might be able to see the score lines there. We're going to fold on all those score lines, but before we do that, we're going to turn it back so that we have the 4-inch and the 8-inch score lines going vertical towards me. And then we're going to mark the top with a little clip. And this is just going to help orient you to where you're at while I'm giving the directions. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is press on all of those score lines and make them very, very crisp with your bone folder, or you can use your thumb like that. And I want you to score them and fold them in 2 directions, and that will just make those folds very malleable when it comes time to put the finished album all together and add pictures. So we want to fold on all these lines in both directions. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind is you want to adjust when you're folding this over, even though you scored accurately, sometimes you can still get the paper a little bit off. So you want to make sure that you are lining up your edges. Like that, and then we'll go in the opposite direction. Like that. Okay, so we've done those two. Now we're going to do these two. Like that. One more. And in the opposite direction, like that. And because that clip is there, you can really turn, your paper in any direction and then quickly orient yourself to the pattern by knowing that the clip is where the top is. Okay, so I'm just going to put that back up at the top like that. So basically we have 9 different rectangles. I'm just going to call them sections. All right, and let me just bring in the pattern. Now there's a PDF that's attached in the description box that you can find on my website, reallyrobinstamps.com, and you'll be able to download pictures and this pattern. So you can kind of see where we're headed. So I've labeled each section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that you can kind of follow along and see what we're doing. Here's our 4-inch, 8-inch, 3.5, 8 3/4. And then I've got some arrows here to help you when you're putting the pockets together. All right, so I'll bring this back in and out so that you can see while we're doing what we're doing. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start in section 1 and show you the pattern. Section 1 has dotted lines like this. And the dotted lines are for cutting. So we're going to actually cut out all of section 1. You could use your paper trimmer to cut this out as well. I think scissors work pretty easily, so I'm just using a pair of scissors like that. Now you want to save this piece as we're going to use it to decorate the belly band to close. All right, so we've cut out section 1. Now on section 3, we're going to trim between section 3 and 6 on this line right here. All the way up to the next score line. All right, this one's going to create a pocket that folds that way. So that's why that arrow goes from 3 to 2. So like that. Okay, then we're going to jump down to section 9, and that has a diagonal line. So this is what you need the pencil and the ruler for, is to just make this line nice and straight. You want to put the ruler between this corner and that corner, the outside corner, and make a diagonal line. And then you're going to cut on that line. Right into the corner. Like that. These are going to fold up to make pockets here. All right, so you can kind of see we're working in the corners, right? The corners are what are going to fold to create the card album. This inside piece is the same size as a card. All right, so the last one that we need to trim is in between section 7 and 8 right here. So we're going to trim on this right side of section 7 like that. All right, so now we've got a pocket here. These are going to make pockets here, and this is going to make a pocket here. All right, that's how that's going to go together. So before we glue those though, we are going to just kind of do a little bit of extra trimming. And what this is going to accomplish is going to give space in between the pockets and the folds so that when we put it all together, it's going to fold real nicely. So let's start back in section 1. You'll kind of notice there's like half of a score line left where you had trimmed when you cut this square out. You're going to just really trim off a little sliver on the other side of the score line. So it's really just a tiny little bit like that. So we'll do it on that side of the corner, and then we'll do it on this side of the corner. Like that. And then let's move to this section here, section 3, where we made this cut, and we're going to just trim on either side of that cut line as well. Just a tiny little sliver. It's not even a 1/16 of an inch. It's just gives it enough to have a little bit of give when you're folding it back together. Okay. This one doesn't need it because these fold in opposite directions. So the only other one is in between section 7 and 8. Right here, we're just going to trim off a tiny bit. Hold it this way. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that. You can see how there's just a little more space there. It's going to allow it to just kind of lay a little bit flatter when we're done. So I am actually going to make the outside of my album using this side of the pattern paper, okay? Which I probably should have done first. Well, I'm going to do it this way. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. I don't want to confuse you. So this is why I'm saying you want to have papers that coordinate together, because the pockets are, you're going to see both sides. So let's start putting this together. I'm going to use liquid adhesive because that allows me to get a nice thin line of adhesive. So just referencing the pattern, the arrows here, we cut on that diagonal line, and then the arrows are pointing this way, just meaning that that flap's going to go up here, this flap's going to go over here. So that's what we're going to do first. And just put a little bit right along the edge. It doesn't have to be a lot. If you don't have liquid adhesive and you're going to use like double stick tape, you will just have to adjust the measurements that I gave you for the pocket inserts because your adhesive will probably make this pocket be a little bit smaller. So you'll have to make your inserts a little smaller. All right, so there's one. When you fold these pockets over, again, just make sure that the edges are lining up. So you want to get that edge exactly lined up with the edge of the cards or the designer series paper, the pattern paper here. All right, now we're going to do this pocket here, but before we attach that, we're going to use the circle punch, and we're going to just make a little pull kind of feature that won't pull. It'll just kind of make it look like a cute little pocket. So save this piece too. So you're going to add a little bit of adhesive on the two sides of this pocket here. And then fold that up, making sure on the outside these lines match. Okay, and then our last pocket is going to be this one. Before we put that all the way down, you can do two things. You can fold it back so that you can kind of see, you'll be able to see the piece that's sticking out. But I'm going to go ahead and tear because I really like to have just a little bit of texture. So I'm going to tear about 3/4 of an inch off like that before I make that pocket. Like that. Okay, I'm going to put this clip back up here because this was the top. All right. So far, so good. So this was our pattern. And then we folded all those pockets that we made by trimming on the score lines. to create this. Now I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and I'm going to bring in my paper cutter, and I'm going to show you how to create the pieces that you need from the neutral piece of cardstock. So the first thing that you're going to do is cut a piece that's 1.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Okay, this is going to be the belly band to close the album. Then you're going to measure at 2 3/4 inch and cut off another strip that's 2 3/4 inches wide. And then turn that, and you're going to make 2 pieces that are 3.5. And these are going to be the inserts for the small pockets. Okay, this piece you can save. All right, then you're going to take this piece that's left, you're going to turn it, and you're going to trim at 4.5. And then you're going to create 2 pieces by making cuts at 3 1/4. So these are 4.5 by 3 1/4. And you just end up with this tiny little strip to throw away. So these are going to be for the larger pockets. And then with this last piece, you're going to measure it at 4 3/4 and 3 by 3.5. And this is going to be the piece that kind of is in the center of the album. So you utilize one whole sheet, and you just have these little pieces left over where you can use these to decorate more of your album or put them back into your paper stash. Okay, we are done with the paper cutter. So let's bring the album back in and check out the pieces we have here. So this was the last one we cut, the one that's 4 3/4 by 3.5. And then we cut 2 that were 4.5 by 3 1/4, and those go in these pockets. And then the first pair that we made were 2 3/4 by 3.5, and those go in these pockets. And then this is going to be the belly band, which we'll put together in just a second. So let's do some decorating. I'm going to go ahead and attach this one to the base of the card. So I'm calling this the card base. And I'm just going to center that right in the middle. And so let's decorate this one first. So I printed some pictures. This is a card album I'm actually making for my husband because it's his birthday. And so I printed some pictures of him and I, well, I guess mostly him and I, together because he will enjoy that. So on this one, I'm going to bring in a couple birthday stamp sets. This one's called You Are Amazing, and this one's called Approaching Perfection. This one is kind of a time-sensitive one. It's during Celebration 2021, so this was only temporary available, but we're going to use those pieces because they're really fun. This one is in the January to June 2021 mini catalog, so if you're watching this later, those stamp sets may not be available. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull in this very fun word bubble here. And I'm going to pull in colors that coordinate with, let's move that belly band. I'm going to pull in colors that are coordinating with this paper. So this pattern paper is from a set of paper called Ice Cream Corner. And the colors that are in here are Bermuda Bay and Old Olive and Pool Party. And then I'm going to use a little bit of black as well. So let's get our ink pads ready. Okay, so I'm going to use Pool Party because it's a little bit lighter, and I'm going to stamp the word bubble here like that. And then I'm going to use this greeting that says, if things really do get better with age, you are approaching perfection. And I'll put that in the word bubble. And then I'm going to attach one of these pictures on here. So, oh, that's kind of cool because it actually looks like I'm saying that, doesn't it? All right, so that is one pocket. Now this is great because you could also put an additional picture on the back depending on the occasion that you're sending this for. Now I'm going to take out this piece that's in this little pocket here. And I'm going to use one of the other greetings that says, so what if you're a year older? You're fabulous. And I'm going to stamp that right at the top of this piece, like that. This is going to peek out over here. And since this one is kind of more hidden, I think I will put my personal message, at least part of it, on the back there. I'm going to take my markers that coordinate with my ink pads, and I'm going to just highlight "You're fabulous," like that. And then I'm also going to bring in the big happy birthday, and I'm going to put that in there like that. Okay, so that pocket is done. I think I might want to put a picture on the back, but let's go ahead and finish this first. So this one here, I'm going to put a picture that is vertical like that. I think I'll use this one here. And so along the other side here, I'm going to use this newsflash greeting from the Approaching Perfection. And then I'm going to take the happy birthday greeting and just stamp that a couple times, make it look a little bit like a, you know, a newspaper column. And add the photo here. So I used a Canon Selfie printer to print these photos. It's really easy with the app on your phone that goes with it. You can just tell it how many pictures to put on a 4x6 piece. So you can get 3x4 size. You can get even smaller little thumbnail sizes like that. So let's work on this one. On this one, I'm going to use the candles, and I'm going to stamp those in, let's see, we're going to do the Bermuda Bay. And we're going to stamp those across the top 4 times, like that. And then we'll put this little happy birthday over here too, like that. And I'm going to put one of my 3x4 pictures there. I trimmed it a little bit to leave room for the stamping. It's not a true 3x4, but that's what size it was when I printed it. Like that. All right, let's stick that back in the pocket. So you can see how easy this comes together. All right, so for the center, that's where I'm going to put the picture of my husband, AKA the birthday boy. Put that up at the top. And then I'm going to take the little balloon from that set and we'll stamp a couple little balloons like that. And then we're going to color them with the coordinating marker. We've got Old Olive and Bermuda Bay, like that. Oh, I was going to put this on here too. So I'm going to take the Pool Party marker and I'm going to just highlight behind Newsflash here just to make it stand out a little bit. And then I'm going to take the Old Olive marker and highlight birthday. Just adds a little bit of color. And then we're going to use the Bermuda Bay, and we're going to just do good for your health right there. Birthdays are found to be good for your health. So I just highlighted those. Okay, I have one picture left. I think I meant to put it on here. So I should have put that there. Let's put this on the back, because you know what? We got two sides. That's what we're going to do. Like that. All right. I like how that turned out. All right, I think we can take this off because we are oriented to where this is going. In there. Let's see, make sure I didn't forget anything. All right, so I told you to save that little piece that we punched out of here, and that looks really cute to put over here. I did end up stamping this kind of high up, so I'm not going to put that on there, but this looks cute to add to another tab. You'll see on some of my other samples that I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so now it's time to make the belly band. So when I close this up, I kind of like it to open to look like it is it'll kind of look like a note card if you fold in the larger flaps first. So these are the sides, and then to fold these together. And it really doesn't matter. These are going to overlap the same way. So I'm just going to put this one that's the top over here. And this is a good time, now that you've got that all together, to just kind of reinforce where those folds are to get it to lay flat. And even with those pictures in there, this is nice and flat. You can mail it very, very, very easily. Probably get away with one stamp, you know, depending on what kind of cardstock you use inside. So now I'm going to use the strip that we cut off first. That was 1.5 by 8.5. We're going to make a belly band to keep this kind of closed. I'm just going to center that behind where this flap is, and then fold this over until those meet. And they're going to just kind of overlap about 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to put adhesive right there. Line that up like that. And I'm just going to set this block on here for a minute to hold that and let that start to dry while we make this other piece. So now we're going to bring back our circle punch, and this is going to be decoration for the little belly band. And I'm going to punch a piece out like that. And then we're going to stamp a greeting on the front. This is also from this You Are Amazing stamp set. Add that, and then we're going to pop that up onto the belly band. So I'm going to put 3 dimensionals kind of across the middle of this where it's going to touch the belly band. That. Awesome. I think that's adorable. I think this project would be great, obviously for birthdays, to celebrate the person who's having the birthday with pictures and messages, and a little, you know, a little keepsake that they get to have. Obviously, I said it fits in an envelope, so you can take it around with you. You can stick it in your purse. You could make it for grandma. This would also be a great card for like coworkers, where there's a lot of people signing the same card. That way there's a lot of place for messages. So let me show you this one again. So this is in the other colors of this same paper from Ice Cream Corner, and this is my friend Eve. She has a birthday the same day as Tim, so I always make them a similar card. And let's put hers back together. Now I can mail that off. So for this one, there's actually a little bit left of this piece here. So depending on how you put it together, you've got a little bit of extra pattern paper to play with. So let me show you a couple others that I've made. And then just give you a quick little tip. When you're choosing your patterned paper, your double-sided pattern paper, keep in mind the directionality of the pattern that's on it. So the one that I used didn't have any directionality, but this one does. All the flowers are going in the same direction, right? So let's say I want this on the outside of my album. I would just have to keep in mind that when I'm actually folding it up like that, those flowers are going to be upside down if I do it that way, okay? So I would have to just make sure I would want to turn it that way. If this was going to be on the inside, you know, then that doesn't really matter because your album will be oriented in one way. And just because I picked this as the top doesn't mean that it has to be at the top at all. You can turn this and make those pockets go in a different direction. I was just going to simplify it by having us orient to the same spot. So again, if you've got a striped pattern or something that has a definite direction to it, just keep that in mind. You want to, you know, figure out where you want that to be before you put your project together. So here's one more that is from this same Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper. It's just so pretty. So this one, I was thinking of a birthday card as well. You can fit gift cards in here. Let's say you didn't want to put the little pull-out tabs. You could put 2 gift cards in there, or you could put 1 gift card, whatever you want. This one, see, this is where I put the circle over here, just kind of ties everything together. For this one, this was interesting. Instead of using the thinner, just neutral white cardstock that Stampin' Up! Carries, I used one of their colored cardstocks. And it's just thick enough, just a tiny bit thicker, such that with the gift cards and the colored cardstock, when I went to make the belly band for this card, that little white piece, I mean, it was actually this color, it wouldn't touch. It wouldn't overlap. It just barely touched. So if you are going to make this a little bit thicker by what you insert inside, you're going to want to create a different size belly band that would be longer than 8.5 inches. So that's one with gift cards. This is one with the Berry Blessings paper, the strawberries. I don't have pictures on that one yet, but this one's going to be for my sister because she is a June birthday girl, and we always have strawberries around her birthday. And then this one is with the Field and Flower Designer Series paper. This is a celebration item. Isn't that pretty? Just every single paper looks a little bit different. And they're just all so pretty. So this is the one that's on the pattern that you can download to have. I thought it took great pictures, so I picked this one using the Pierced Blooms flowers for her birthday. All right, let me show you some more with pictures just to give you some ideas. So this was the first one that I actually made, and I made this out of the True Love Designer Series paper. And I made this as an anniversary card for my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So I put one of their wedding pictures in there and then just some pictures of them. I didn't even use the paper here. I just tucked the photo in so you could put a couple of pictures in there. I put my greeting and my message inside there so that, you know, they could show this to whoever they wanted without having to, you know, reveal the message, which, you know, could be private. Just says happy anniversary, but I loved this one. I thought that turned out so cute. And then I made one with the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper. for my friend Bethany, whose birthday is also, there's so many birthdays in February in my world. And so I just printed pictures of her and added some punches with different greetings and some of the and other stamped images that coordinate with this paper. So this one, I didn't pay attention to the directionality of it when I started making the pockets. So it, you know, it is upside down there, but then when it folded together, even though these were upside down, those flaps were right side up. Ultimately, does it matter? Not really, because you know, the person's going to focus on the inside of the card where your messages and your pictures to them are. So just something to keep in mind. And then I made one more, and this one's for my son who just graduated from college. So I used this lovely map kind of travel themed paper. And for this one, I didn't cut the pieces out of the neutral cardstock. I actually went and got a pack of our Memories and More cards, which are made for pocket memory keeping. And then I just put all his pictures on the back of one of the cards. And I just attached this card with washi tape, and then I put a picture underneath. So he would kind of have some inspirational little messages, and then he would also have pictures from the day that he graduated. So I hope that you got some ideas of how you could use this template. Again, I call it a 4-in-1. No, I call it a 4-pocket. What do I call it? A 4-pocket card album, because you can mail them. And I hope you have a great time making these. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.